Tavis Smiley. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad about it. Our phone number, 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. That sounds so good. I have two young guys who work with me on the show every day, and they know music pretty well, but it's always funny to me when I have to teach them every now and then, just a little something, because they're young brothers, sharp. So Miles, my board op, says, we're going to play the Crusaders. I said, yeah, Randy Crawford sounds good. He says, no, the Crusaders. I'm like, no, it is the Crusaders. But the person singing is Randy Crawford. Turn it up, Miles, just a little bit. I love Randy Crawford, and I love the Crusaders. I miss Joe Sample, one of the greatest pianists ever. Love Joe Sample, love Randy Crawford, and love the Crusaders. Love that track, and I love our guest in this hour. It's a Women's History Month conversation with SNL alum Ellen Cleghorn, or let me say it more properly, Dr. Ellen Cleghorn. She does, in fact, have a Ph.D. from NYU, and I ain't mad at her. She joins us in this hour for a career conversation to talk about a number of things, I hope. Her pioneering role as a black woman on SNL, that ain't easy to do. Pay equity for women in Hollywood. I was reading in the last few days, prepping for our conversation, about how little Ellen Cleghorn was paid when she was starring on SNL as compared to the good white folk. We'll talk about that, I hope. And the challenges that comedians are facing today in this cancel culture that we live. So much to talk about with Dr. Ellen Cleghorn, who I am pleased to welcome to KBLA. Ellen, how are you today?
I am well. How are you, Tavis Smiley?
If I complained, I'd be an ingrate. I'm delighted to be alive, delighted to be in studio, and delighted to be in conversation with you. I look forward to this hour because a lot, again, I want to unpack. Let me just start with this. I was thinking, Ellen, yesterday, again, just kind of getting ready for this dialogue today. I was thinking of all the actors I have ever known, and I was trying to think how many actors who I know have I interviewed that went back to school to get a Ph.D. and I'm stuck at one, Ellen Cleghorn. So tell me,
oh my gosh,
tell me what that was about, getting the Ph.D. after already being a star.
Well, I went ahead and got tired of people telling me about their master's degrees, and it just irks me. And I try to live in gratitude all the time, and not become jealous or competitive with people. You just have to compete with yourself. That's always been the way we will. The way your parents bring you up.
Yeah. Don't
compete with others. Compete with yourself. But that something kept pricking me every time somebody would say, my master's degree is in it, and I would get a prick. And so I said, well,
I love it.
And we're like, and so I guess I let it call me back, and I filled out an application and went ahead and got accepted to the Tisch School of the Arts at NYU.
Yeah.
And I said, that's a dream. If I could do anything, what would I do? I would do that. So I went ahead and got in, and it just boggled my mind how few African Americans I would run into, except for the security guards.
Yeah.
I said, there's like 100 people working security, keeping these white folks safe, and only about 2 or 3 of us upstairs. And I said, well, what are we going to do? So I was just, I was a little contentious, and the 2 black people that were in the program were very competitive. And I said, okay. And I played chess and not checkers. And at the end of the program, we were getting ready to graduate. One of the black sisters said to me, you're not going to fill out the application for the PhD program, are you? And I didn't even know what that was. I said, well, why, what? She said, you shouldn't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, because you know what they're going to do? They're going to ask you to write something. I said, that's all we do in here is write. I don't wrote a 100-page book. I said, no. She said, yeah, they're going to ask you to write something. Then they're going to steal your ideas. I said, well, okay. I won't do that. I said, now, why is she concerned about me? She ain't even, we've never had lunch. And now she's concerned about my well-being.
Yeah.
I guess she doesn't know about Hollywood.
Yeah. That's funny.
So I went ahead and filled out the application, and they let me in. They said, yes, we would like you to do your PhD with us. I didn't even know what all was entailed, what was going on,
Hmm.
but it's a 4 to 5 year commitment. You have to promise not to take a job, and you have to promise to write this and write that, and you have to promise to teach. And I was nervous beyond. I developed a sweating condition where I would just start sweating.
Mm.
And we have nerves of steel in entertainment, but this was a whole nother beast. And and I fell in love with research. I just fell in love with being in the archives and touching letters that Frederick Douglass had written, and letters from Sojourner's Truth, and just
Mm.
watching and listening to actual. Or I just fell in love with it. I would just literally be romanced in the archives. Could spend hours going
Mm.
through the historical records and documents, and I said, I really do love this.
Mm.
And I just hung in there until I found a way to connect that to my love of humor, which
Mm.
is what I do now.
Yeah.
So that
I'm so glad I asked that question. I didn't know where it was going to go, but I love hearing I love hearing I love the backstory though, right? I love the backstory to these factoids, getting a better understanding how these things came to be. So you said a few things now that I want to interrogate when we come forward. I want to talk about gratitude, or get you to talk about gratitude. I want to talk about competition. I want to talk about developing those nerves of steel, your love of humor, and a great deal more. I see exactly where this hour is headed. It's going to be a good one. You're listening to Dr. Ellen Cleghorn, SNL alum, on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about. Good thing we've got 3 hours. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates Women's History Month, sponsored by Walmart. As we celebrate Women's History Month this month, KBLA Talk 1580 would like to spotlight women leaders in our community who are creating positive change. If you or someone you know is making a difference in your community, please nominate them with a 50-word or less post on why you feel they should be included in the KBLA Women's Series, sponsored by Walmart. These women leaders will be featured on KBLA, interviewed on KBLA, and participate in a panel discussion hosted by Reva Martin in real time. Visit the KBLA app or log on to KBLA1580.com to nominate a woman in your community that is creating positive change. This has been a KBLA Talk 1580 community call to action.
Let's get back to business, Los Angeles County. The Economic Opportunity Grant Program is now open. This program is designed to provide financial support to qualified small businesses, micro entrepreneurs, food industry businesses such as restaurants, and nonprofits in Los Angeles County. Approximately 4,600 grants of up to $2,500 each will be administered to qualified micro businesses that face barriers to accessing capital resources. To learn more about the Economic Opportunity Grant Program, visit www.grants.lacounty.gov. The application process is fast and easy. Don't miss the opportunity to get back to business. This program is administered by the County of Los Angeles through its Department of Economic Opportunity and funded in part through a grant from the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. The application portal is powered by Lindustry. Visit www.grants.lacounty.gov and get back to business.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
KBLA Talk 1580 welcomes the U.S. premiere of the Bob Marley One Love Experience. Open now through April 23rd at Ovation in Hollywood. Enter to win a pair of VIP tickets on the KBLA app or KBLA1580.com. A One Love Experience poster, vinyl record, and souvenir. This has been a community call to action brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth. Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
I'm Tavis Smiley. She is Ellen Cleghorn, Dr. Ellen Cleghorn, SNL alum, and there's a lot to talk about regarding SNL and so many other things as we celebrate Black Women's History Month. Black women are a part of that, obviously. It's March, and we've been featuring as many conversations as we can and will throughout the rest of the month with certain people, certain women who've made their own mark on history, and certainly as an African American woman, getting on SNL and surviving on SNL and thriving on SNL is a lot easier said than done. But Ellen Cleghorn did it. And we want to talk about that and a great deal more in this hour. Let me follow you, though, Ellen, as I will throughout this hour. First of all, I say all the time, this audience hears me say it repeatedly, that I believe that gratitude is the gateway to greatness. If you would be, if you would be great, you got to be. If you would be great, you got to be grateful. You got to be full of gratitude if you want to be great. So I say all the time that gratitude is the gateway to greatness. I was so struck then by your invoking the word gratitude. What have you learned along the journey of all that you've done as an actress, as a comedian, as a PhD? What have you learned in your life about gratitude?
Well, I grew up Christian, and I never really understood as a young person the scripture, "In all things give thanks." But as I matured, I didn't really understand it either, but I just said, I'm just going to step on faith and do this and just say thank you, just thank you, Jesus, thank you. And just walk around just saying thank you. And then it evolved. Then it opened up like like some kind of mystical crack in the rock. And you begin to see, if I just say thank you for whatever happens, just be thankful and be grateful and just say thank you for whatever happens, something's going to be revealed to me that's greater than my understanding. Because, we say greater is he that is in me than he that's in the world. And God knows all things. He's all knowing, all, omnipotent, omniscient, everything. So you can't pretend to see. You are blindsided. You have blind sides. You have blind spots. You can't pretend to know, but you don't need to know. And that's so freeing. Just say thank you. Just say thank you. And if you don't walk through life saying thank you, you're going to have a hard time. And I tell my daughters, as I tell everybody, that I mentor a lot of young students right now. I just said, just be thankful. Yeah, but he didn't show up. Yeah, but I didn't get it. I said, well, just say thank you. Thank you. Because something greater is happening right now. This is a moment for you to stop and reflect, a moment for you to look around and see, what did I get? Because and I don't, I try not to be too religious with the kids because it's not my place to proselytize.
Sure.
But in my life, in my house, there is God, and I do proselytize. And I said, you don't know what God has for you. You don't know what God is giving you right now. Just be thankful. Just say thank you. Yeah, but my car broke down on the side of the road, and I don't have. I said, well, just say thank you, Jesus. Thank you. I said, something, you don't know what accident you just missed. You don't know what being late. I said, you don't know? What's it? Because God is love, and he's not doing anything bad to you. He's not going to let something bad happen to you. So just say thank you. And when I see people really in turmoil, I just say, well, you're not living in gratitude. And in living in gratitude, you're able to, for me, I am able to, let me not say you, because I don't want to be that person. By me living in gratitude, I'm able to calm myself and not live in angst. And I have a very bad anxiety disorder. So I'm not able to let that anxiety take me over if I'm just grateful. It really, really sets me straight. And I'm just calmer. I'm a calmer person by just saying thank you, because I'm breathing. I can walk. I can see. Let me just be thankful for what I know I have, because I know there's something greater going on outside of me that I don't even know about.
That's a fresh word, Ellen. As we say, that is a fresh word. And I'm sitting there listening to you thinking, and I thought she was just funny. I didn't know. I didn't know all this was coming in this hour. I just thought she's a funny woman. But she is.
But Tavis, don't let me forget. I know, but let me stay on, because oh Lord, now she's talking about Jesus.
No.
But let me just say this: that I just got a new TV show on Hulu called How to Die Alone with Natasha Rothwell.
Yes.
And Natasha Rothwell, as you know, from Insecure. So she has her new series that's starting. So I'm flying out to Toronto soon to be to be playing her mom.
Mm-hmm.
After I got my PhD, did I know Jesus was working this for me? No, no.
I was going there, and we're gonna get back there again about this new project, How to Die Alone, on Hulu. So we'll get to that. I promise. It's on my notes.
Okay,
But let me just say this:
okay.
my mother's listening. I'm sure back in Indiana, in the Midwest where I grew up, and I had to catch myself because I almost started crying while you were talking, because that is one of my mother's favorite Bible verses, and she says it to me all the time. There's almost never a conversation I have with my mother where she doesn't remind me somewhere in that conversation, usually near the end, Tavis, in everything, baby, give thanks. Baby, in
Oh, thanks.
everything, in all things, give thanks. She says that to me all the time. And if she's listening right now, I know she's feeling it because, again, there's never a conversation where that doesn't come out of her mouth at some point in the dialogue. And so I was just moved by your raising this. So that's gratitude. The other thing I want to get your take on, because I was somewhat laughing. Well, I was laughing, in fact, when you told the story of the sister who said, "Whatever you do, don't do that PhD program." So I'm laughing because there's nothing wrong with competition. I was talking to somebody. I was at a dinner last night talking with my friend about competition, and so I want to get your take on what you have learned in your career and in Hollywood. I know it's really interesting. And you're going out for roles oftentimes against or alongside other black women. So just say a word to me about what you've learned about competition.
Well, I mean, it's good to compete. It's very good to compete because there's nothing. It raises your game.
Mm-hmm.
How bad do you want this?
Yes.
You know, like and so there's friendly competition, but then there's that dastardly kind of evil competition where you're gonna put drugs in somebody's liquid before they drink it, and so
Yeah.
now they can't talk. Yeah, that's a different. That's different. There's some other stuff.
Yeah.
But if you just want some friendly, let's get at it. That's just gonna raise the quality of and then the other thing I'm gonna tell you is gonna raise the quality of the product.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a better cell phone, better health care,
Yeah.
a better, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But the other Bible verse that I always is try to maintain is there's enough for everybody.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I will pour out for your blessing. And I have many mansions. If I hadn't
Mm-hmm.
told you, it wouldn't be so. So I'm not competing with you in a finite sense.
Yeah.
There's infinite, and what we are finding out now is it's infinitesimal. And somebody who tells you there's not enough, that it's just you, it's either you or this person, then we know that's not true. It's not a binary.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get this one, you'll get something else. There's tomorrow, and we just say thank you.
Mm.
Thank you. Also, now I know what I need to do. Oh, I need to train more. Oh, I need to get this. Okay, and I'll find someone else to help me. It is so. It's good to compete, and you see what's out there, and you raise your game, and you see what. So, I don't mind the competition. I wish it was just me.
to your point, what have you learned about? Because I love this. I mean, you and I are so simpatico on some of these things in this conversation already. It felt like I was listening to myself talk back to me in a female voice, because I say all the time, and I believe for years, that my real competition is with myself. I ain't, as we say down south, I ain't studying nobody else. I ain't studying nobody else.
No.
I'm just competing with myself. What have you learned about what it means to compete with yourself and to win?
You really have to be honest. Did I really try?
Yes.
Did
Yes.
I really do my best?
Mm.
Could I have spent a extra 20 more minutes? Could I have put that cake down last night so that I wouldn't be standing on this scale upset with myself because I didn't, can't fit in this dress or whatever it is that you want? What can I do to make and then you really have an honest relationship with yourself, and I think that's the most important thing, and that's what you're saying. I hear you.
Yeah.
It's to have a real honest relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing that, then what are you doing?
I've learned over the course of my career that, if you're gonna lie to anybody, don't lie to yourself. I mean, no sense in, if you gotta lie every now and then, that's between you and Jesus. But ain't no sense in lying to yourself, though. I don't know what that's about. So I take your point. You referenced also nerves of steel, and it seems to me there's no way that you succeed in Hollywood as a black woman or any place else, but since you're a Hollywood star, there's no place you succeed as a black person without developing some nerves of steel. As a black woman, and I'm going to pivot in a minute to this pay equity issue, I saw this piece where you were opening up with some of your SNL colleagues, Dana Carvey and a couple others. You all were talking about looking back on your time on the show, and you were confessing, how little you were paid. So we'll get to pay equity in a second, but tell me about what you've learned about developing nerves of steel as a black woman in a business where black women are rare.
Well, first of all, I grew up in Brooklyn. I grew up in the projects. I went to school from very young with white people, and you have to get I want to say a deaf ear and a very razor focus. It's like a pinhole focus. What am I doing and what am I doing here? You have to know. First of all, the Bible scripture always comes to mind about fear. God did not give me the spirit of fear.
That's right. That's right.
So when I'm feeling fear in my heart, I said, "That's the devil. Get thee behind me, Satan." And all I know is to say the word, "Get thee behind me, Satan." And that's all I have to do is say the word, and it's in the word that the devil flees. And we are in the Lenten season. I'm not preaching, but we are in the Lenten season, and the devil was tempting Jesus to fall down, throw yourself down. And all Jesus had to do was say, "Get thee behind me, Satan," and the devil fled. He was disappeared. So that's all I have to do is say the word. And that fear is not a fear. When I feel fear and I say to myself, "God did not give me the spirit of fear," and then it holds you down. And it's not. And I tell my daughters all the time. She said, "But I'm nervous." I said, "God didn't give you a spirit of fear. If you're feeling fear, that's the devil trying to keep you from what God has for you. So just say the word and let's get to it."
Yeah. That's it. That's it. And it's worth let's get to it. It's worth noting the rest of that scripture because again you're hitting all my favorites today. The scripture it says that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. Not a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind. So I want to just bring that thing full circle there. So let me ask you then. I'll start this now. I'm sure we'll continue on the other side. I got 2 minutes left before news, traffic, and sports. We'll continue on the other side. But in Brooklyn, how does one, and there may be many answers to this, but how does one grow up in Brooklyn and develop a love of humor? What was so funny in Brooklyn growing up?
Oh, everything was funny. But Tavis, when we grew up, and the way people listen to rap music and learn all the rap songs, and the way we listen to music, we grew up learning all the words to the Richard Pryor records. We grew up learning all the words to the Eddie Murphy records. We knew all of the Red Fox stuff. We knew we would play those records over and over. We would wear it out until we knew all the words, and we could tell each other. It's just a part of us, snapping on each other, and humor was what we loved, the way we loved music. And it was just a cultural thing, the way we love fashion, the way we, sew our own clothes and put together an outfit, the way we put on fashion shows and talent contests, learn new dances. Humor was right along with it.
Yeah. We are talking in this hour with one of the first black women to ever appear on SNL, Ellen Cleghorn, who went back to school, as you heard earlier in this conversation, and got herself a PhD. So she is Dr. Ellen Cleghorn, and she's teaching a master class. If I can just mesh those metaphors, she has a PhD, and she's teaching a master class. She's running a revival. She's doing it all in this hour, and I'm downloading every bit of it, as I'm sure you are. I am delighted to be in conversation for the rest of this hour with Ellen Cleghorn. There's a great deal more to talk about when we come forward. We're going to talk about that pay equity issue. Wait till you hear what the white folk were earning on SNL and what Ellen Cleghorn was earning or not earning at the same time on SNL. We'll talk about the challenges facing comedians today in this cancel culture. Her new TV series on Hulu, How to Die Alone. Oh, there's a great deal more to talk about. I ain't going nowhere, and you shouldn't either. You're listening to Ellen Cleghorn right now on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Mike Island, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Gas prices continue to creep up today. AAA reports the national average price for a regular is up to $3.46 a gallon, a 2-cent jump from yesterday. The highest price at the pump is in California at $4.92 a gallon. The Red Cross is trying to increase the number of people who roll up their sleeves and donate blood. Anyone who donates blood through March 31st will have a $10 prepaid gift card sent to their email. They'll also be entered for a chance of winning a $3,000 prepaid Visa gift card that can be used for things like groceries and gas. Today marks 26 years since rapper Christopher Wallace, known as Notorious B.I.G., was killed. He died in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles. Wallace was just 24 years old. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Island from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Colombian singer-songwriter Maluma is bringing his magic to Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel. Buy your tickets today at YamavaTheater.com or the casino box office. Maluma, live at Yamava Theater on April 27th.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers beat Toronto by 8. Kawhi Leonard had 24 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists. Colorado authorities will not file charges against Memphis Grizzlies star John Morant for displaying a gun at a nightclub last weekend. Investigators said they could not find enough evidence to charge Morant with a crime. The Grizzlies announced that Morant will continue to be away from the team and will miss at least the next 4 games. UCLA plays Colorado today at noon in the first round of the Pac-12 tournament in Las Vegas. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. This sports report was brought to you by Original Taco Pete.
Aaron at Original Taco Pete's. Come in today for our tasty seasoned black taco. We're at 3272 West Slauson off Crenshaw, or call 323-348-4441.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Is child support taking your money? Did you know that states receive $500 million a year in incentives to put people on child support and find them guilty in those same state hearings? Log on to ChildSupportIsFraud.com for more information.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. Today, I was able to speak with Ola Wadibia, VP of Women on the Move. Hi, Ola. Tell me a bit about this initiative by JP Morgan Chase, founded in 2013.
Women on the Move is a center of excellence at JP Morgan Chase in our global DEI organization, where we really focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. What's really awesome about Chase's approach is that all of our centers of excellence, and there's 7 of them, focus on different demographic groups, is that we're really focusing on what's happening internally in the firm and also what's happening out in community. So really, Women on the Move is really focused on thinking about how do we help advance women professionally and personally.
I love it. So tell me about this beautifully updated banking branch here on Crenshaw.
That was really important. A part of our racial equity commitment was to build in place for Chase. So being able to revamp this beautiful space, to be able to welcome community members, today anyone, nonprofit, organization, school can actually do events in our community center that we're sitting in here for free. Yes, people come inside, grab a coffee, use the Wi-Fi. It's free.
Yes, Maisha Cairo in the community for KBLA with JP Morgan Chase.
Congratulations to Hertz Rent-A-Car for being this week's winner of KBLA's Office of the Week. Log on to KBLA1580.com to enter your office to win lunch for 10, delivered by John O'Groats Family Restaurant.
Visit youcanbeatit.org or call 833-422-4255 to ask for medication to treat COVID-19. Sponsored by the California Department of Public Health.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing tonight? I'd like to welcome to the stage the lyrically acclaimed. I like this young man because when he came out with the phrase, he went from ashy to classy. All right. I like that. All right. So everybody in the house, give a warm round of applause for the notorious B.I.G. The notorious B.I.G., ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for him, y'all. I've never been as broke as me. I like that. When I was young, I had 2 pair of leaves. Besides that, the pinstripes and the gray. The one I wore on Mondays and Wednesdays. Flirt, I'm sewing tigers on my shirt and alligators. You want to see the inside? I see you later. Here come the drama. Oh, that's the with the fake. Wow, why you punch me in my face? Stay in your place.
I'm Tavis Smiley. She is Dr. Ellen Cleghorn, and he is the notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls. Today is the 26th anniversary of his murder here in the city of Los Angeles, where this radio station is flagship. We're heard across the nation, but flagship here in L.A., and just about 5-7 miles away from this studio is the location where Biggie was gunned down, 26 years ago today. And you heard Ellen say that she is from Brooklyn, and just a little shout out to Brooklyn and to Biggie Smalls 26 years later as we continue our conversation with Ellen Cleghorn, SNL alum. A great deal more to talk to her about in this hour. So Ellen, as I expected, my mother is listening to our conversation back in Indiana right now, in the Midwest where I grew up. And I don't normally do this, but I want to play for you the message my mother just left me on my voicemail. I heard it during the break. So listen to my mom's message to me. Let me pull this up right quick, see if I can play it on the radio here.
Well, I've just finished listening to Les Brown.
Oh, that's the wrong. See, I knew something happened, Miles. I'm playing the wrong thing. So hold up. Let me figure this. This is why I'm just a host, not a tech guy. Let me find this message. I thought I had it here just now. Where's it at? Let me let's try this again here. Today is one more time. Bear with me here. All right, let's try this again. Here we go, Tavis. Let's try this. Get this right.
As I'm listening to you, praising God for bringing you up in the church, teaching you those things that are so needful. And I'm really impressed by the ladies that you're interviewing. All right, love you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Oh, your mom is impressed with me. Tell her I said thank you. I'm impressed with her son.
Well, she just heard you say she was that she's impressed with you. She's listening back in Indiana. But I thought that was so cute. I just know my mom. And I knew when you started referencing those scriptures, I said, yeah, she's going to resonate with that. And she couldn't wait till I got off the air. She had to call me while I'm on the air from Indiana and leave a voicemail. So I'm glad that I could play that for you. So let me move now to SNL, and I want to get to this pay equity issue here. But just take me back right quick. She's oh Lord, I'm watching my clock. I don't want to lose too much time here before we wrap here at the top of the hour. But as I said earlier, this is Women's History Month, as we all know. You're one of the first black women to be on SNL. It wasn't an easy journey, but just take a few minutes to tell me what it was like being a black woman back then on SNL.
Now hear me out, Tavis. I'm not complaining because I live in gratitude, and I don't play the victim role.
Right.
And I never wanted to be that girl. You know what I mean? Like I used to listen to my dad talk about Muhammad Ali and what they did with him with his paycheck, you know, and how a boxer would box, and it would be a 60-40 split.
Mm-hmm.
And the boxer would only get 40, and the promoters and everybody would get 60%. And, and we would talk about how African American performers are always taken advantage of. And I said to myself, I said, when I get to be a celebrity, now this is like I'm a kid, and I just knew I was going to be a celebrity. So when I get to be a celebrity, nobody's going to take advantage of me. and so the last thing I would want to do is to admit to that. Can you understand me?
I do, loud and clear.
So here's the thing, since we're going to stay focused on SNL and that pay equity thing. I did not know that I was being paid less than everybody, but they knew. So I was the joke. I was the butt of the joke. Every place, everything I did. And I would be writing, producing, and performing. And I had the same responsibilities. I had to be on time the same like them. I had to don't do this the same like them, but I wasn't getting paid the same like them. But I didn't know. Do you know what that is? That's a great film when you're writing a movie for the person to be in the dark and everybody else to know that dramatic irony where the audience knows what's happening, but you don't know what's happening. That creates a great dramatic character. But this is real life.
Yeah.
So when Dana Carvey invited me, and then here's what's really interesting. When Dana Carvey and David Spade invited me on the show, once again, they blindsided me. I did not know they were going to bring that up. And I did not know until that moment, what was that, 2 years ago, that the pay equity disparity was to such a great extent. So here I am walking around for 30 years with toilet paper on the back of my shoe, and I did not know.
Let me put some numbers here, because Ellen is. You heard her say a moment ago she doesn't want to own it, but we have to deal with it because it's reality. So just to give you a range here, Dana Carvey around that time was making $4,500 an episode. $4,500 an episode Dana Carvey was making. Around that time, David Spade was making about $1,500 an episode. And around that time, Ellen Cleghorn was making $245 an episode. Let me say that one more again. Y'all missed that. Dana Carvey was making $4,500 an episode, and Ellen was making $245 an episode. I'm not even sure that's pay.
Which is union. It's union scale.
It's union scale. Exactly. But I'm not sure that's the conversation about pay equity. That just sounds like I'm trying to find the right word. You're the PhD, Ellen. I can't even find the right word. That's more than just a discrepancy. 4,500 versus 245.
That's some bullshit. That's what that is.
that right there is absolutely mind-boggling. That the gap could be that significant for a white male and a black female. And again, maybe you're not you're not the star of the show. I get that, but that gap is just you're all part of. It's an ensemble cast.
No, but I was.
It's an ensemble cast,
but
right?
I was a cast member.
Yes,
I was cast.
Exactly.
So cast members. But the thing was, my agent agreed to it. My manager, who was the same manager that they had, which I didn't know, agreed to it. So it was an agreement like a RICO.
Yeah.
But I know there is another word. But everybody was like, okay, that's fine. She's African American. She's a woman. First of all, she won't know because I didn't know. My agent didn't tell me. They didn't tell me. They were acting. They didn't come up to me and say, yo, check it out. You're not being paid properly. Nobody was writing for me. So the fact that they're telling me now, just like the girl in PhD school, why do you need me to know this now?
Yeah.
What are you doing for me now?
Yeah.
And so you just have to say, thank you, Jesus. Yeah. Because one way or another, we wouldn't be having this conversation. That's one thing. Yeah. Or we would be talking about something else. Or maybe it wouldn't be shedding light on equity, which is the theme for International Women's Day. Yesterday, the theme is equity.
That's
so maybe, so I don't know, Jesus, but I'm just going to live in gratitude and say thank you. And I'm not that I'm going to ignore that this happened to me, that it was wrong, and that it needs to be discussed. I'm not going to say that, but I'm saying I can't let that trouble me. Because that would make me lay down and die.
Okay, so I don't want it to trouble you, but it does trouble me. It ain't gonna trouble you, but it is troubling me. And when we come forward, I want to ask you point blank in just a second when we come forward, how you felt 30 years later, 3 decades later, when you're on a show with David Spade and Dana Carvey, and it just comes out. It just comes out, and you're sitting there with egg on your face, trying to process what you've just heard 30 years later, that one guy was making $4,500 and you were making $245, but you're all part of an ensemble cast on SNL. How did you process that in that moment? Ellen Cleghorn's response to that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Be sure to like and follow Tavis Smiley at The Real Tavis Smiley and get Twitter updates at Tavis Smiley. The conversation continues when we come forward.
LA Mayor Karen Bass swears in the first black state controller, Malia M. Cohen, the second woman to serve in this role. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by Lendistry, story courtesy of CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. San Francisco native Malia M. Cohen made history this February as the first black person and second woman ever to serve as a controller in the state of California. She is the 33rd person to hold this position, and it was only right that LA Mayor Karen Bass administered the oath. In her position, Malia Cohen will oversee the disbursement of the largest public pension fund in the nation.
Thanks to our new sponsor, Lendistry. Lendistry is a national black-led small business lender that is headquartered in Los Angeles. Lendistry helps small business owners access the affordable capital needed to grow. Visit Lendistry, LENDISTRY.com/KBLA today.
The U.S. premiere of the official Bob Marley One Love Experience has arrived in Los Angeles. Open now through April 23rd at Ovation Hollywood on the corner of Hollywood and Highland. Tickets start at $20 plus fees and are available at BobMarleyEXP.com. That's BobMarleyEXP.com. Get your tickets today.
California is a great place to live and work, but those aren't easy things to do for students also going to college. That's why the state created the Californians for All College Corps, a way for students to build skills and help others while earning up to $10,000 for school. Commit to serve your community and we'll help you pay for college. Spots will fill up fast, so learn more and apply today at www.cacollegecorps.com. That's www.cacollegecorps.com. California is a great place to live and work, but those aren't easy things to do for students also going to college. That's why the state created the Californians for All College Corps, a way for students to build skills and help others while earning up to $10,000 for school. Commit to serve your community and we'll help you pay for college. Spots will fill up fast, so learn more and apply today at www.cacollegecorps.com. That's www.cacollegecorps.com.
Conversations that matter. You're listening to Tavis Smiley on KBLA Talk 1580.
So Ellen Cleghorn, you get invited to be a part of this show, this podcast. You're talking to former SNL alums or SNL alums as well, Dana Carvey and David Spade, and you learn in that conversation that one of those guys was making $4,500 per episode while you were making $245. How'd you process that in the moment?
Well, it didn't. Actually, it didn't bother me. Like, that's over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. How did I process it? That's a good question. It was revelatory.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's why y'all was acting the way you were acting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So there was an epiphany.
Mm.
And I was grateful for that moment that because they really wanted me on the show, and I couldn't figure out why. But that was so. Oh, okay. So you wanted to. oh, okay. But I get to choose how I react to things. That's one thing I know. I can't change you, but I can change how I respond to you. So I choose how I respond to this. And not to say, well, okay, thank you for telling me. That's interesting to know. But now I know that you were wrong. You just confessed to me how horrible you are. And you confessed to me how horrible they are. Thank you for telling me, because I didn't do anything wrong. If you're laughing at me, why are you laughing at me? I'm not the one that did something wrong. I didn't cheat you. I showed up every day. I did my work. I gave. I developed my craft. So if somebody is in the wrong, you know, it's you. You stole from me knowingly. How do you feel? How are you going to process that with your soul? All is right with my soul. I raised a daughter with that $245. I found that she's an oral surgeon with that $245. What are your kids doing? I have a PhD with that $245. What you got? So I'm okay. I mean, I would like to have the coins, but that you were talking about me bad behind my back, that you laughed, that I was, you know, that you took advantage of a poor black woman. How do you feel? That's what you need to ask. How are they processing that, knowing that the evil that they did and that they confess to? That's one thing you learn as a black person. Just be quiet. They're going to confess to their nastiness in a minute. You don't have to go looking out for them. A criminal will always confess.
You're listening to Ellen Cleghorn on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates Women's History Month, sponsored by Walmart. As we celebrate Women's History Month this month, KBLA Talk 1580 would like to spotlight women leaders in our community who are creating positive change. If you or someone you know is making a difference in your community, please nominate them with a 50-word or less post on why you feel they should be included in the KBLA Women's Series, sponsored by Walmart. These women leaders will be featured on KBLA, interviewed on KBLA, and participate in a panel discussion hosted by Reva Martin in real time. Visit the KBLA app or log on to KBLA1580.com to nominate a woman in your community that is creating positive change. This has been a KBLA Talk 1580 community call to action. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The rent is too damn high. KBLA joins you in calling for affordable housing. The LA Tenants Union is a diverse, tenant-led movement fighting for the human right to housing for all. The LA Tenants Union demands safe, affordable housing and union rent control. They organize against landlord harassment, mass evictions, and displacement, and mobilize for the repeal of the Ellis Act and Costa-Hawkins Act. The LA Tenants Union is on a mission to strengthen tenants' political power through education, advocacy, and direct action. To get help with your eviction or other landlord-tenant issues, take action for justice, or become a member, visit latenantsunion.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
KBLA Talk 1580 welcomes the U.S. premiere of the Bob Marley One Love Experience. Open now through April 23rd at Ovation in Hollywood. Enter to win a pair of VIP tickets on the KBLA app or KBLA1580.com. A One Love Experience poster, vinyl record, and souvenir. This has been a community call to action brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580. Interrogating your assumptions and expanding your inventory of ideas. Let's get back to Tavis Smiley on KBLA Talk 1580.
I've got 5 minutes left in conversation with Ellen Cleghorn, Dr. Ellen Cleghorn. She took her $245 an episode and got herself a PhD, and I ain't mad at her, and got her daughter to become an oral surgeon. So somebody says little becomes much when you place it in the master's hands. Since we quote in scriptures.
There it is.
Yeah, little becomes much when you place it in the master's hands. So I got 5 minutes left. I want to cover 2 or 3 things right quick. So one, I'm going on a limb here because I don't know if you saw it, if you have any commentary about it. Did you see Chris Rock's special? I loved it. He just did his work. Yeah. So that last 10 minutes that everybody's talking about when he went in on Big Willie. As a comedian, how do you read it? Some people thought it was funny. Some people thought he was being a little mean-spirited. You're a comedian. How did you read the last 10 minutes or the entire special for that matter?
Okay, I thought the entire special was great. I had taken my daughter to see him working it out when he was co-headlining with Kevin Hart in Brooklyn. And he did the work. He did the comedian's work. And I just think he's a master at what he does. And it was his choice to do it, to do whatever it was that he was doing. And I think he did a great job. We're not going to leave talking about Chris Rock. He got his millions of dollars. But we're going to talk about this TV show on Hulu.
I'm going there. Trust me. I'm getting there. That's why I want to deal with that first. Just see if you had a take on that. Now, let's talk about, as you said, How to Die Alone on Hulu. Take it away. Just do your thing. Tell me about the series and how excited you are and all that good stuff, Ellen Cleghorn.
I am so excited to play Natasha Rothwell's mom. She, everybody knows her from Insecure.
Yep.
And she also was a writer on SNL. So it's like a homecoming for us as 2 SNL alums to participate in a TV show. And I can't wait to do it. I can't wait to shoot. We start shooting this month.
Was it your plan? Did you expect to get back to doing this, back to acting after your PhD?
No, I did not. It was not my plan.
Wow. What was your plan?
It was not my plan until my plan was to teach, and I am teaching.
Right.
But I got presented with an opportunity, and I said, okay, let's try.
Yeah.
And so I played Michael Che's mom in his TV show on HBO last season for 2 seasons.
Right.
And my agent and my manager said, well, here's a part you might enjoy. Try this. And I said, okay.
Yeah. I'm just thinking out loud. The game has changed so much since you were on SNL back in the day. These streaming services are everything now, like Hulu.
Yeah. Hulu and Netflix and
Amazon, all of them.
Every Paramount, Amazon, everything. So there's so many platforms that you can perform, and I'm happy for it. I'm grateful.
Yeah, as an actor, that's got to be a good thing. Think about this. Back in the day, first of all, they weren't letting too many Negroes to do anything anyway. But there were only 3 networks then, the big 3, and now you've got all these channels, you got all these streaming services. I would think that means that there are more opportunities, ostensibly, I'm putting this in air quotes for those watching on live stream, ostensibly that means there are more opportunities for actors like yourself, Ellen.
Yes, actors and writers like myself and producers and just creatives, period, musicians, everything. So more opportunities. It's opening up, and you're able to see the diversity in opportunities and in performers.
I could have asked you this question earlier, but now's as good time as any. You have done both so well for so long, the acting, the writing, the comedy. Specifically with regard to acting and writing, is there, if there were a gun to your head and I had to and made you choose, what would you choose?
I would choose writing.
Yeah.
I mean, I love acting and I love performing, but there's something about writing that does it for me. And but I do love acting. I really do. But I do enjoy writing.
Yeah.
I'm at a writing job right now, as a matter of fact.
Wow. I'm mad at you. On How to Die Alone, are you just acting or are you acting and writing on that one?
No. I'm just acting. Thank
Okay.
God,
Yeah.
and I'm so happy too. The writing is excellent. Natasha Rothwell is the creative. She's executive producing, and so that means she's writing. And the writing is amazing.
Yeah.
The concept is just beautiful. A black girl's working at the airport, and everything that she has to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful story, and I hope everybody watches it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it myself. It's called How to Die Alone. It's on Hulu. It will star one Ellen Cleghorn, Dr. Ellen Cleghorn. Ellen, I want to close here. I'm out of time. I have enjoyed this immensely. I did not know. I mean, sometimes I don't know where a conversation is going to lead. But this has been so enlightening, so encouraging, so empowering, so inspiring, and I have you to thank for that. Thank you for this great hour of conversation. I appreciate you. We will do it again, I promise.
And I thank you, Tavis, for inviting me. And I know you don't remember this, but I when you did a thing at like Saks Fifth Avenue or something like that a long time ago.
I remember this.
And I was there I actually brought my sister in from out of town.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been a fan of yours for forever. I watch your interview with Prince religiously just for inspiration.
Yeah.
And I do admire you. I've read your books. My mother passed away, but she was a fan.
Wow.
And I just want to thank you for being on the planet.
No, well, thank you for those kind words. And how cool is that your mother was a fan of mine and my mother's impressed by you. So it goes full circle. I love it. All the best to you, Ellen. We'll do it again soon. Take care. Have a great rest of the day.
I hope so. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, my friend. That's our show for today. Time now for the KBLA Midday Money Chain. Up next, the Millionaires Roundtable with Lynn Richardson, to be followed by Ahead of the Crypto Curve with Naja Roberts. Old money, new money. Either way, we got you covered here on KBLA Talk 1580. Don't forget, 4:35 today. Check in for the daily download on the Mark Ridley Thomas trial. Stay tuned all day to KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
It is a Thursday, March the 9th. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. In Louisiana, the New Orleans City Council is investigating